Ladies and gentlemen, I am the NOW World Heavyweight Champion,
And I'm Scarlett Bordeaux.
You're watching Ope-Eh three-way.
You heard the man. We say it with me. Oh, hey there, and welcome to episode 101 of the Ope-Eh three-way pro wrestling podcast. Sitting here with a Sun Cruiser. My name's Brandon, as always. Closing out the summer with my good bud, Pierce. Pierce, how you feeling, good bud?
I'm good. We, of course, are brought to you by the Main Event Wrestling Network. Make sure to subscribe to everybody over at the network. I'm doing okay. We got a stacked weekend in professional wrestling ahead of us. And, I mean, Sunday's got probably, besides, I guess, SummerSlam, because we were there, the event that I'm most excited for every year. So, like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, down for it. I'm catching up on little Will Ospreay right here in front of the TV, so if my eyes kind of dart back and forth, if I shout something, you'll know why. Hopefully there's something shout-worthy on this episode tonight. But make sure to catch this episode.
So what we're going to be talking about today, we got Ora de Calor, we got Heatwave. Ora de Calor means Heatwave, so they're going to be the same day, back-to-back. And then, of course, it is all-in season, Wembley season, so we got 3 shows to go over today. This weekend, Saturday, Brandon will be on 2 mixers on the Main Event Network's YouTube page, both for Heatwave and Ora de Calor. And I will be there on Sunday. I don't know, I might be hosting it, but I will be on the all-in mixer on the Main Event Network. So make sure you check those out. They're going to be a ton of fun. But before we get too deep into all this heat, we got to figure out what happened in the past.
You think you know me?
On this day, 1991, SummerSlam. This was a match made in heaven and a match made in hell, because this was the wedding of Sergeant Slaughter and Randy Savage, which is also known for the post-wedding party where Jake the Snake Roberts would gift them, I believe, a python. Maybe it was a cobra. I can't exactly remember.
Hold on. The wedding of Sergeant Slaughter and Randy Savage? Did I hear that correctly?
Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth. I got.
Oh, my God. We're off to a great start.
Hey, that would have been a hell of a wedding. The reason I said Sergeant Slaughter is because the match made in hell was some heel Sergeant Slaughter shit, because it was Ultimate Warrior and Hogan versus Slaughter, Adnan, and General Mustafa, I think. I didn't look too much into it. I didn't care too much about it. It was more about the wedding of Elizabeth and Randy. I would like to see the wedding of Randy Savage and Sergeant Slaughter, man.
Brother, I understand, like, there's been a lot happening in the Marvel universe as well with the multiverse shit. Like, someplace, we can probably guess confidently that there is a wedding between Sergeant Slaughter and Randy Savage. If it is within the realm of possibility.
1991, I don't think so. The world was not nearly progressive enough.
Well, I'm saying in, like, an alternate 1991. You know, somewhere, like, Earth 25,000.
A different year, 2002, Brock Lesnar comes out on Raw and says, I'm only defending this WWE title on SmackDown. So Eric Bischoff would have to find an alternative, which we will talk about next week, because if it was Raw today, next week it'd be Raw next week, where he comes out with that alternative. And then 2007, SummerSlam, 2 big returns. Triple H defeats King Booker in his return match after tearing his other quad. And Rey Mysterio would defeat Chavo Guerrero after tearing up his knee for the millionth time. Only one of them looked really stupid with silver paint, and I'll let you guess which one.
I mean, I thought that the Silver Surfer cosplay by Rey was pretty dope.
It was.
Maybe I'm alone in that opinion, but it certainly was not his best.
You and your contrarian opinions never cease.
It's hardly contrarian. I'm not doing this to spite you. I liked the silver. I'm going to go ahead and say something that's going to blow your hair back. I liked the silver paint. I'm going to leave it at that.
It looked really bad. And in the main event, John Cena would defeat Randy Orton to retain his WWE title. 2007 John Cena is categorically, besides maybe 2015, his best ever year in ring. And this match is no exception. This is their best non-gimmick match together of the 4,372,000 that they had. So definitely check that out. But we got 3 shows. We're going to start with AAA Ora de Calor. You're gonna talk a lot about this on Saturday. I haven't caught up on AAA. I will be tuning in for Triple Mania. That's going to fucking happen. But like, I gotta lock back in with AAA. All participants for this match are to be determined or announced, whatever you want to say. A gauntlet match for a Reina de Reinas championship shot at Triple Mania. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think La Catalina is probably the heir apparent winner here. Maybe, I've seen some reports that maybe Bayley re-signed. Maybe you get a Bayley appearance, but she's already challenged for the title. But I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. But I'm going to go with La Catalina because they should be pushing her to the moon anyway.
Yeah, she's one of those kind of like Stephanie Vaquera that was basically like swiped away from CMLL and from that entire kind of hegemony there over on the AEW side of things. And she's been wanting to be, she's actually the first Chilean wrestler to ever be signed or to ever be used, I believe, by WWE. So she has some history with the company there. She has love for the company.
Stephanie Vaquera.
La Catalina is Chilean.
So
like, I don't think she was the first, but she wrestled in WWE. She had a match in WWE before Stephanie did, is what I'm saying.
She was in NXT for like 2 years. Before.
You talking about Catalina?
Yeah. But I'm just saying.
I don't recall her being in NXT.
I'm like 90. She had a different name at the time. Let me use the old Google machine.
I was going to say, because I believe she wrestled under a mask. I watched, it was on AAA. They were doing kind of like a highlight for her. And I want to say she just had like some matches, but she's the first Chilean to have a match, not necessarily to be signed. That would be Stephanie, I believe.
She was Carolina, where she had a match with Sin Cara against Andrade and Zelina Vega. She was Catalina on the main event, and then she re-debuted in 2021 as Katrina Cortez.
That kind of sounds familiar, but why am I having such a hard time remembering?
She was very young. She's still very young. She was signed to WWE at 18, so like. But I think the obvious choice is La Catalina. I
agree.
Do I think she'll beat? Is Flammer the champion? La Flammer?
Yeah, Flammer. Yeah, she's still champ.
She's been champ for over 900,000
days.
So
yeah,
I don't know
like
if she beats her, but she got as good a chance as anybody, which is hard to say when somebody's been champ for 1,000 days.
Well, I think what WWE is kind of doing with AAA is they're like steadily installing like all of like their people into these championship pictures, and I can give guess as to what might happen with another title match later on. But Catalina, in my mind, and based on things that I've seen, apart from Bayley, obviously, which maybe they do some sort of a career resurgence with her. So that again, who's to say?
I mean this with full respect and no disrespect towards Bayley. She should not re-sign. I think AAA, for what it's worth, and not saying that it's bad, like it's the best wrestling on television, and I'll stand by that, even though I haven't watched it in a while. It's technically below her in a sense. You can see how WWE treats Dom, who is the world champion of the brand, and he's losing consistently. And I think Bayley should go to AEW because the matchups she has in front of her at AEW are all fresh, and that'll lead to a true career resurgence.
I agree with that as well.
Much needed star. Not that AEW's women's division is bad. It's fucking great, but it adds much needed star power. It's it's in a good spot right now, but since Toni Storm has been on hiatus, there's a star that's been missing. So adding Bailey, or I would assume Rose Martinez, to that would be better in my opinion. But if it's true that she re-signed, I'm not going to be mad at it, because Bailey has been the most underrated woman on the roster for her entire run. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, I feel like she was rated fairly enough. It's just that when you compare her to the rest of the horsewomen, like, she just doesn't have that kind of evolution where she really stands out. Like, Becky became the man, right? You know, Charlotte became the queen.
She was the cornerstone of the women's division during COVID. She was the
a
reason
pillar,
to
sure.
tune in to that show during COVID. She held the title for, 400 plus days? And, like...
I mean, you felt like she was the reason to tune in. I know she was kind of dabbling in, like, the whole talk show bit, right? Like, she had Ding Dong Hello and stuff like that, and that was good.
Her title reign, she put the women's division on her back, because during COVID, it was her and Becky as the champions, and then Becky had to go because she got pregnant, and then the Raw women's division was very shallow at that time, and now you had Bailey and Sasha just carrying WWE on SmackDown for the women specifically. So I don't know. She just never got the true respect she deserved. She got it a little bit when she won the Rumble and then had the best match at WrestleMania 40, minus the last 5 minutes of the main event. But okay. The best wrestling match at WrestleMania 40. She did not have the most sports entertaining match. So, the War Raiders will be defending against Los Americanos, the AAA World Tag Team Championships. I don't know. I don't think it's time to take it off the War Raiders, but I could understand taking it off them and putting it on the Americanos. But I think you save that till night 1 in Vegas in some sort of gimmick match, because they're still building out the Triple Mania card. So
yeah. Or would that be too close, and would it make it kind of too obvious when it comes to, like, the AAA Mega Campeonato match, whatever? You don't feel like it would be too much of a tell?
That title is being held by Dom right now, and he may have been champion. He may be hitting, the 1-year mark now? Maybe year and a half? No, it's closer to a year. He's getting close to that 1-year mark, but it's time. They got to strike when the iron's hot. And it's hot as fuck. So, it would not deter from that at all. At all, man.
I guess it's just, it just kind of removes that suspension of disbelief, I guess, I would have when it comes to wrestling, because it's like, well, I guess I should think about, like WrestleMania 39, right? Like, because, the Usos were defending the tag in one main event, and then you had Roman defending the undisputed, blah blah blah.
That's different.
Well, I guess I would expect. My mind is going to, I expected both the Usos and Roman to, if the Usos lost, Roman would lose. If the Usos won, Roman would win. That was kind of how my mind was going at it, and that's where my mind is kind of going with this, because it kind of rings familiar. If you were to put Los Americanos in a title match in night 1 that you expect them to win, then my mind is like, oh, well, then if that's the case, then surely they're going to have El Grande Americano win, and all three of them stand together like this in the pyro.
He's not losing that match. If he loses that match, that's
they would
almost a year of booking. That, I mean, I guess it worked out with Cody, but they have to put the title on him in Mexico City. They have to.
Yeah, there ain't no way they would stall out El Grande Americano for another year, I don't think. It'd be different than Cody, right?
Because Cody had the emotional Rumble win in return, but he didn't have the match of the fucking year. And the best rivalry we've seen, arguably, since Cody and Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Or Hangman and Swerve. There's been some decent rivalries, or Punk and Drew McIntyre, but nothing to the point of Grande versus Grande. It was the best thing on wrestling this year, and nothing's come even fucking close. So, El Carnicero, am I saying that correct?
Yeah, Carnicero. Yeah,
Versus to
Carnicero.
be announced. No idea.
Yeah.
I'll go with Carnicero. Now, you know what? I'll pick TBA because maybe it's Omos and his suspension gets lifted and then he just kills a guy, because I would appreciate that.
Be kind of random though, right? Because I feel like he's been targeting Psycho Clown, and I mean, I don't think anyone in the Psycho Circus is going to be. But then I'm trying to think of like maybe some weird thing where it's like, because I don't remember the last time I saw the guy who turned on him, not Psycho Clown, but Pagano. I mean, maybe some weird shit like that happens. I
just
don't know.
want to see Omos do some giant shit.
He's banned though. He just got banned this last episode.
Still the best.
You want him to just come in randomly and kill their new monster? Fucking Carnicero.
Is that what he is?
What? The new monster?
Big meaty man slapping me.
If they fought, would it be that?
I mean, it would, but it'd be weird. Because, like, he has no beef. He has no beef. No pun intended. He has no beef with El Carnicero.
Well,
all his beef is with Ray Ray.
You don't need beef. You just need some big, meaty men slapping meat sometimes.
I mean, I don't know. I'll just put it out there. I don't think it's going to be Omos. I just don't think so. Omos is going to be on the...
I don't know.
He'll be at the show somewhere.
I got to watch the TV a little more. Fatal 4-way match for the vacant AAA Latin American Championship. I'm going to go in order of who I think is most likely to win. It's El Hijo de Wagner Jr. I'm saying that correctly, unlike fucking WWE. Say it correctly. He just lost the title, and I don't think he's winning it back right away. That doesn't make sense to me. La Parca, and I'm putting him at number 3, mainly because I don't think he necessarily needs it. But if they put the title on him, I'm not going to be mad. El Fiscal and Damian Priest. I think Damian Priest is the heir apparent here. If you can't have it be Vikingo, put it on another known name. And not saying El Fiscal. Obviously, La Parca is one of the most known names in all of Lucha Libre. And El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. speaks for itself. But he just lost the title to Vikingo 3 months ago, 2-3 months ago. El Fiscal is still kind of getting his feet wet, but he had a fucking banger last week on Raw. But I'm going to pick Damian Priest, and I think then he transitions, maybe not full-time, but most of his time to AAA, and then is on SmackDown occasionally, and then that's fine. So I think Damian Priest here is your obvious winner.
Yeah, I think Damian Priest is the guy. So let me ask you this: so you don't believe the sheets when they say that he might be one of the 4? I've read that there are 4 names on the chopping block, as it were, come October.
I don't believe anything on the sheets lately because they've all been fucking wrong. Look at that guy that said the thing about the ESPN deal, and he immediately got fucking retracted like within 3 minutes.
Yeah,
like
the sheets have been really dirty.
There are really no trustworthy news sources in professional wrestling besides the actual fucking companies in professional wrestling. And even then, the whole point of professional wrestling is to work us. So, like, you got to keep that kayfabe wall up.
Yes.
We can't see the 4th wall. It's here, and I'm kind of breaking it for our viewers, but, like, it's here, and we're not supposed to know about it. So if they... I'm going to pick Damian Priest. If they fucking immediately just release him after the fact, egg on my face, but that's also really fucking stupid.
I completely agree. I think Damian Priest makes the most sense. I think it's good for the brand. I think it's good for the exposure. I think whoever beats him will go over huge.
It's a former world champion on the main roster. This is not
right.
This is not somebody that's just a name on the main roster. This is,
right.
I think, no, he hasn't held Intercontinental Gold, but like
not yet.
One-time world champion, which he won at WrestleMania. He's a multi-time tag champ. He was U.S. champ. He was Money in the Bank. Like, he is an established main event caliber. He's an upper mid-card face right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's in a lower card a little bit because he's been kind of saddled with the tag team. But, like, they can bring him up at any time and just be like, hey, we need you for a one-off pay-per-view world title match, and you'll get quality. So
I will say, too, I think that there's a good opportunity here to not only get Damian Priest some gold, but also to affiliate him with, because we do see now over this last Saturday that Los Perros del Mal does have a recent vacancy, and I feel like, honestly,
that's different. That's a forced vacancy. That was a forced vacancy, and now
there's a vacancy nonetheless, and I feel as though it'd be opportune to,
for a moment. OTM debuted on Raw with Royce Keys and took out the Bloodline and Solo and LA Knight, which some people were like, well, didn't they just tag together at SummerSlam? They sure did. Guess who did not fucking help him when he was getting murdered by Jacob Fatu?
Very precisely.
This was, you can call them faces, you can call them heels, does not matter. I think this is one of the most interesting moves that WWE has done in a long time.
Very much agree.
And Royce Keys is going to work. I'd probably put him in the heel area, but maybe they're kind of tweeners. OTM will work face or heel. It does not matter. People have not seen Royce Keys, or as Corey Graves called him, Hobbs, which I thought was fucking hilarious.
Keys! It's Keys! It's Keys!
He's like,
Keys!
That's Hobbs.
Yeah, knee-jerk response.
We have not seen him as a heel. He works pretty damn well as a heel. He's a very good babyface, and he was not getting the reactions that I think they thought they'd expect as a babyface. They also debuted him and then kept him off TV for 3 months, so that's their own fucking fault. But he did very well in his babyface role. I always popped when he came on my screen, so I'm excited to see him in this heel role with OTM. I just hope they don't give him some stupid name, because Michael Cole said a few times, oh, they grew up in the hood. So, like, that kind of fucking scares me. Knowing WWE, that got me shaking in my boots a little bit. But
I mean, if they're smart, they just keep it all OTM. They just spread the banner over a little bit to include whoever else, maybe Jada Parker, hint. But I think they just keep it all OTM, man. I think it just rolls off the tongue nice. Yeah, I think it rolls off the tongue nice. I think they can expand the brand. But to that point, I think going back to Damian Priest, like Bronco Nima, obviously, with Lucien and Royce, I almost called him fucking Powerhouse. I think this opens an opportunity too, because they tried to bring in fucking Damian 666, and he's like 65 years old. Granted, he was an original member of Los Perros, but like, it was just sad, bro. Like, I read
having him in that manager role, I think, is fine.
If he's a manager, sure.
But like, the one thing that what Mexican promotions do is they have people in their 50s and 60s still going out there and wrestling.
Unfortunately.
There's the Octagons, there's the fucking Blue Demon Juniors.
Yeah, Blue Demon. Yeah.
Like, there's a lot. But I think if you put Damian at the head of that faction, and then you have all these people under him that can learn and get under that essentially learning tree, that'll help. In what I expect to be the main event, Los Perros del Mal, Daga, and Berto versus Dragon Lee and the motherfucking Lucha Brothers. For the WWE audience that are maybe catching AAA and have never seen Penta and Rey Fenix team together, you're going to see some shit. You are going to see some shit.
Right around 2, when they're about to have their big match for number 1 contendership to Roman's World Championship.
And we're going to see some shit.
Ciudad de Mexico. Yeah, that's going to be wild.
I think you have to have Perros go over. If they lose any momentum that they did have. Which is why when Bronco lost to Penta, he was immediately kicked out of the group. So they kept that momentum. They can't kick out 3 people. Like, that would just be stupid.
No, that'd be... Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the heels here. Brandon, what are you thinking?
I almost would say that you give it to Penta, Rey, and Lee because of, again, like the match they're coming into. I mean, of everybody that's in that match, I feel that Dragon Lee has like the least to lose. So that's why I see him taking the pin in that match, if anything. Otherwise, like, that's what I'd say is more likely to happen. Otherwise,
Daga's a smaller guy, correct?
He's on the smaller side. He's no bigger than Angel Roberto, really.
So you could have any one of those 3 realistically pin Phoenix, and then you just have an automatic title match at Triple Mania. You could do that.
I mean, that's one possibility. So
I don't think Phoenix should be losing here because, full honesty, I fully expect Penta to win on Monday, and he should win. It's not even a debate to me. Penta just had one of the best Intercontinental Championship runs we've had in 3 years, and is getting a rightful promotion into the main event scene. Cero Miedo. So if Phoenix loses here, it doesn't help him that much. But if Dragon Lee does take the pin, it doesn't affect him in the slightest. So
that's what I'm thinking. I mean, Dragon Lee takes pins anyway, so kind of what he's been doing. So, yeah, I see Dragon taking the L on this one, and I think you see a little bit of hijinks. Maybe something goes on with an expansion of Los Perros del Mal. We'll see.
From one heat wave to another. I'm going to read this from bottom to front with what I expect, how these matches to go. Well, I'll flip-flop too because I don't think they're going to do one of these back-to-back. Jada Parker versus Natty in a submission match. I want Natty to win because she is a submission specialist, but I can fully see them putting Jada Parker over. But, like, I think Jada is probably overdue a call-up at this point, but if they want to keep her in NXT and then maybe finally give her her NXT title win, you have Jada win. But I'm going to pick Natty, and I'm not too confident in it. I'm at, like, a 60-40.
Yeah, I think it's Natty. I mean, she's got, what is she calling her stable? The dungeon? Something with dungeon.
I think it's just the dungeon.
Something about the dungeon. It's got, Nikita Lyons, Carmen and Nikita. I think there's hijinks that lead to Jada losing this match. I think she's going to put Natty on the ropes. I think there's going to be a time she taps in the ref. Maybe don't see it.
I think it honestly ends in a Jada heel turn because maybe Thea throws in the towel and then Jada just beats the shit out of her.
Well, like you said, I feel as though, like, I don't know how many new, like, things you introduce in that after the fact because, like you said, I feel like Jada's overdue a call-up. She doesn't have to win any titles at this point for her to get on the roster and to get over, I don't think.
No, she's over enough. The fans are interested in her. She's got one of the most, like, the Miss Parker chants are huge. Like,
the Jey Uso shit. Yeah.
Don't say that.
No.
Brandon.
No.
Brandon.
Hey, listen, it's not me who's saying it. Other people are saying it. I don't
and
subscribe.
Tavion Heights defend the tag team championships against the Vanity Project. Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes. I think Miles will be losing one of his 2 titles, and I don't think it's going to be this title. I think you can keep the tag titles on him and Tavion. I think that team's got legs. Gives Tavion a showcase because I think Tavion is the most underappreciated person on that roster besides Mason Rook because they just don't know what they have in Mason Rook. So I'm gonna go with the champs retaining. Who do you got?
I don't know. I'm a little hard pressed to believe that this is the title that Miles keeps because part of me still believes that we're going to see Miles and Tavion clash again for the men's North American title. I don't know, man. Like, I guess, like, that's the thing is, like, yeah, Miles and Tavion are kind of an established team, and you need someone as that cornerstone. I mean, I think Vanity Project are doing well for themselves as a unit. I wouldn't be sad if they regained the titles. I don't see as much forward momentum or much forward booking in Miles keeping the tag titles as I do in him keeping the North American title.
I don't know. Like, he could lose both of them. He could lose one. He could lose none. But, like, I think it makes sense for him to keep the tag titles, honestly. But they also need to have more established teams. Like, they just lost OTM. So, like, what are they going to have to do? Dark State?
Fucking Hank and Tank decided to show up this last Tuesday. They decided to punch into work, so maybe that's what their direction is. They decide to kind of revamp the Hank and Tank run, see where that goes. I mean, I'd like to see them main roster too. SmackDown needs the help in that regard, but we might be getting a twofer out of Hank and Tank. We might see that down the road at some point if they decide to get the belts off of Vanity Project. So,
Miles Bourne will be defending his North American Championship against the other member of the Vanity Project, Jackson Drake. I think you put the title on Jackson Drake here, 100%. Dude's over. Dude is fucking great in ring. He is good on the mic. He's got a great look. Miles has been a fine champ, not a good one, not a bad one. He's been generally fine. He's just kind of unfortunate. And I know being deaf and not having the best promos doesn't help this, but he doesn't have the charisma, and Jackson Drake has the charisma. So, like, I think you gotta put it on Jackson.
And that's the tough thing, man. Like, there's so many different universes that can spawn from this bit of Flashpoint, right? Like, I don't know. Part of me sees Miles keeping the title and Tavion chasing him, but at the same time, Jackson Drake he's one of those young studs, man. He's in the same kind of encampment that Javon Evans is, where he's young, he's prodigious, he's got so many years in front of him. And, he was just coming off a reign as the Evolve Men's Champion. Granted, Evolve is like you don't even call it like a tertiary brand or even a quadricery, but like, they put these belts on guys who they believe can be possibly the future of the company at some point. They put these belts to see how they look and how they carry. And Jackson Drake, I mean, I feel like we talk about striking while the iron's hot. I feel like Jackson is a guy who, if they decide to call up a Miles and or a Tavion, like, Jackson's a guy you want holding a North American Championship. He's a guy you want carrying that particular strap. I feel like Jackson would be great.
This version's of NXT's Ethan Page, the smarmy dickhead heel who can talk all this shit, but then he can also back it up. So, like,
he's a Gen Z little fucking yeah, man. And he gets along. And to that thing that I mentioned about the Meltzer opinion that he had, where he's like, they need to do more with, like, the youth in this company. Like, Jackson Drake is, like, again, Javon Evans, one of those guys who can be an investment, a very long-term investment in this company. But you gotta do something with these guys. You gotta make people in that demographic believe in them.
That opinion, but it also didn't make sense for Big Cass to lose his re-debut match.
Right. Well, I guess that notwithstanding, right?
50 as it can get. Like,
well, just as a general point, I mean, I guess not even looking at within the context of that particular matchup.
Saying,
in general,
Meltzer's whole point was,
I guess I just read it from the quotation. Yeah.
So, but, like, why wouldn't he have won his re-debut match? It would have just fucking immediately dropped his stock. So, like,
oh, great.
And Javon did not lose anything in defeat because he looked so fucking good in that match.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, like, my thing is, like, I agree with what Dave is saying, Big Daddy Dave, in that you gotta get some of these young guys, and you gotta at least make them main event fixtures. They don't have to be like the face of the brand right away. They don't have to be, they don't have to be world beaters. They don't have to be Oba Femis. They don't have to be Roman Reigns. But like make them viable. Have them make you believe once in a while.
Make
like
them believable, but they have to also
Jeff Hardy.
fair. They have to make us care about them.
Right.
And
I think we can make
match with Big Cass. You cared about Javon Evans getting that win. So his point was to a point made sense, but at some point it also was like you can't be correct with how that match was laid out. So Zarya, the North American champion, Ren Sinclair, the Speed champion, Kelly Armstrong. It's a triple threat match. Whoever wins both titles, and the titles are unified. What that means is, of course, the Speed Championship is overtaken. No, I'm kidding. The North American Championship will absorb the Speed Championship, more or less. I'm surprised they're not doing something similar with the men's Speed, but I think the men's Speed actually has some momentum behind it, while the women's Speed never really got anything behind it. So, which is unfortunate, but like it. And no disrespect to Ren, but she's a grounded mat-based wrestler, like a technical wizard, and not many people can make that compelling in 3 to 5 minutes. So that's tough. That being said, I think it's be dumb not to have Zarya retain. So I'm going to go with Zarya.
Well, let me pose this as a question, and this is a slight tangent. I think that eventually the men's title will follow suit as well. I think they're going to want to, especially for as long as he's been there, bump Lexus King up into perhaps that North American title territory or something roughly in there. But like to the point of this match, I don't know. I think in the same vein too. Like if you're talking about putting a Jackson Drake if you're putting the title on Jackson Drake, I feel as though, especially when it comes to talents who have been around, like Ren Sinclair, like Zarya, and especially with some of the vacancies that have been kind of happening with like the women's, like for instance, like Lola Vice coming out to main roster, right? Like, do you feel like now would be a good time for someone like a Kelly Armstrong, or even maybe like on the fringe of things more like a Ren Sinclair, someone who's just right there, but it's not quite ready to break over?
Having Ren win, but I don't think Callie has the momentum to win. Like Callie is doing good work, and but she doesn't connect with that NXT crowd. She doesn't really. She's not there yet. I think this would be a good showcase for her, and it'll help a lot. But she's just she's in that match to take the pin, in my opinion.
I think Ren makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think both Kelly and Ren make sense, but for different reasons. I don't see Zarya defending in this match. I think Zarya takes the vacancy that Lola leaves behind. I think she starts to vie for the NXT Women's Championship. That said, I think it makes sense for Ren to win because similar to how you have Raquel and Liv on Raw, like you have two women associated with each other who are pretty close, right? And then you have them both holding gold. Ren obviously has been doing her part. I think it's about time that she gets a little bit of a bump up. That said, I could see. Love that
Thank
chick.
you, CC.
She's goofy as fuck, and it's great. But I also could see Callie at least taking the title. I think she's got all the tools, like you said. I think the connection piece is still kind of developing. That being said, I don't know that this necessarily disbars her from getting her first title. I think if it may kind of lead to development in other things, perhaps. I don't see it outside of the realm of probability that she wins. That said, Ren, I feel like, is a bit more likely.
Callie is the dark horse, and she will remain the dark horse. If she wins, great. I don't think it'll be that. They're like it would be. There wouldn't be a pop. That's the thing. Like oh, really?
Yeah, not to the degree of like a Ren. Ren, I could see getting a lot of love in that.
Yeah, Kendall Gray defends the women's championship against Kalani Jordan. Kendall Gray wins. That's all
Yes.
I got. That's all it needs to be said.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And in a match I'm really fucking excited for.
What a fucking banger.
Fatal 4-way for the NXT Championship. I'm going to go in the same way the other Fatal 4-way of who I think is going to win. Tony D'Angelo. I didn't think he was going to win against Naraku, but here we are. So, like, I'm going to put him last, but I'm not going to put it past Sean to keep the title on him. So, Tony D'Angelo, Cruz Montana, and I think Cruz is going to show out in this match, and if they put the title on him, again, won't be mad. And I can't believe I'm saying this. Grayson Waller is number 2 on my list. And they should put the title on Grayson. And I'm fine with any 4 of these winning. Even Tony D, even though I don't think he should be champion anymore. But I think the heir apparent is the main one, Zilla Fatu. Because here's the thing. You can say whatever, Nympho baby, Nepo baby, Bloodline baby, whatever the fuck you want. When Zilla appeared on NXT, the energy in that room and the energy online was unmatched. And those saying Zilla's bad in ring, Zilla's bad, you guys have not fucking seen Zilla Fatu. Zilla Fatu is great in ring. Zilla Fatu adds an energy to this match that even if it was just the triple threat, would have been fine. But, like, it adds this extra edge that, and I'm like Grayson and Zilla are my top 2, and it's like 52 to 48. Like, it's a dead race for who's going to win this match. Now, I understand immediately putting the title on Zilla definitely looks a little fucking shaky. 100%.
Yes.
But sometimes you have to strike that iron. And when an NXT debut, not a main roster debut, not like a WrestleMania debut, when a fucking NXT debut is getting talked about on Raw and is getting talked about as much as it did, that video from Tuesday to Wednesday of 2 weeks ago got 5.5 million views, and like very quickly. Like, it was explosive. We've been saying for months that the NXT Championship division needed a spark, and it got 3 sparks. So any 4 of these guys can win. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I'm picking Zilla. But any of them win, not mad at it at all.
See, the thing about it is I can see Zilla winning too, and that's why I think it's bullshit. Because we've already established the bloodline connection. We already talked about, it's the same shit with Solo. Oh, I'm my own man. I'm this, that, the other. But you know what's going to happen the second he gets called up. And I suspect that'll probably be sooner than later. For its own reasons, right? Like, I think Zilla, they're going to do more with him in year 1 on the main roster than they would have ever done with Solo, or even potentially with Jacob, if I'm being frank. That said, I don't think... When you talk about striking while the iron is hot, you look at the buzz that Grayson Waller brought back to that brand, specifically to the men's division, creating the intrigue, generating the buzz, which probably this match probably wouldn't have been a thing had he not kind of laid the tinder for that.
It would have just been Cruz Montana versus Tony D'Angelo, and then that would have been fine. But this Fatal 4-way adds an edge that fucking the men's division fully fucking needed. So,
absolutely. And that's why I think Grayson needs to win. I think Grayson is the guy to win this match. I think he is the best option. I don't care if Tony D takes... Tony D, here's the thing. Tony D's talking shit on Oba. I think Tony D is looking for his way to the Raw roster, like I've been saying. I think the 2.0 boys are going to be hunting down fucking Oba Femi, because they want to be the future of WWE. They don't want to be overlooked by the NIL guy who just showed up and took everything by storm. because they were told that they were this new breed of NXT, ergo this new breed of WWE. You look at the guys. You look at Braun Breaker, like obvious future. You look at Tony D, who's been like languishing in NXT for 5 years, trying to figure some shit that was going to work, and now he's been NXT champion, and he
goes to Raw. I just
chopping
need
at
a
the
little bit of
bit.
this. Raw needs some
If he puts on the Gabagool, he's going to get fucking Gaba buried by Ope-Eh match one.
Gabagool, Tony D beat Ope-Eh twice.
I don't think. Well, he also had the family by him too. Let's not forget
beat him
that.
By himself twice.
I think the family was involved in at least one of those.
Family
matches.
was at ringside. I don't remember.
I could have sworn there was a kendo by Adrian Rizzo, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but that's just Adrian Rizzo being Adrian Rizzo.
Whoa, man! I'm just saying, like,
little gabagool.
You get a little pinch. You get a little kiss at a sauce, right? But I don't know. I think Tony D is hinting that he's ready to go to Raw to chase down Ope-Eh and chase down the future of the industry, right? I think that Cruz Montana is the one to take the pin because he's the TNA guy, and that's just kind of how they've been treating their TNA guys and gals recently.
You said it, not me.
Well, it's true. I'm not taking any pride in it. I'm just saying it's true. Look at what they do with Hendry. Look at what they do with Jordan Grace. Look at what they do with, like, I mean, God forbid, like, you know, Leon Slater comes to WWE after what happens at Bound for Glory. After, you know, I can sit and talk about that, but I won't. But Leon Slater maybe. But come on, we know how that's going to end too. I see Cruz Montana taking the pin in this match, if not Tony D. I think the guy who pins him is Grayson Waller through shenanigans. I think Zilla's going to do a lot of fucking work in this match. I think he's going to demolish all three guys for a bit, but I think it's going to be a comeback, and I think it's going to be some sleight of hand that gets Grayson Waller the NXT title. He proves everyone right. I think Zilla chases him because there's clearly some bad blood between the two of them guys. And there's clearly a need for Grayson to prove himself outside of the bloodline and all that other shit. But now that you get, what's-his-nuts, Nepo Oos up in there, I think you get Grayson taunting. I don't want to cop that
sweatshirt if they sell it. Like,
they're going to sell it, brother.
They should sell it.
I think that, good Lord. Sorry, I just saw Mercedes Moné's gear for tonight, if you're not watching Dynamite. Any hoodle. I think Zilla kind of muscles this match, but I think Grayson and Zilla is the feud to ultimately get Zilla the championship. I think they would be jumping way too soon to put the title on Zilla at this moment. Future, absolutely. But right now, I think Grayson should get the belt.
Yeah, I think it's a toss-up between any of the four. So, all right. We're going to cool it down because they're going across the pond because they think hot outside is 70 degrees. It's not. All in, London 3. How am I going to start this? How about with what I think is probably going to open the show? Cage and Cope defend against the Young Bucks, AEW World Tag Team Championship. I believe that the Young Bucks are probably going to win here. Actually, I don't know. I'm going to pick with the Young Bucks. I think it's going to be a fun match. I think it's going to be the old dogs trying to see if they can still do it against the tag team of the year from 20 years ago, 25 years ago now, versus the guys who have been the perennial tag team of a generation. And I don't think they're going to be able to get it done. I think Christian is going to eat a Meltzer driver to lose this match.
I think it's a toss-up. I think there's rumors abounding of certain tag teams coming in, wherein the Young Bucks winning would make a bit of sense. And they also take the crown for the newest old head tag team in professional wrestling, being, ironically, the Young Bucks. But something inside me sees Cage and Cope winning this match, too, just to kind of keep things going till maybe All Out.
All Out?
All Out. Well, it's not. It can't be All Out because it's in Chicago. It's not in Toronto this year.
All Ope.
Which all Ope-Eh.
Hey. So speaking of that tag team that you're alluding to, the Trios champions, Hangman and Brodito, have said they want a multi-team open challenge, essentially. We know it's not
a clusterfuck, essentially.
But the Demand are going to be there, so I'm going to say the Demand. And we know Swerve Strickland's going to be there as well, because he said anybody. And I think that anybody is going to be Kofi and Austin Creed, the men formerly known as the New Day, who may be Daybreak, who might be New Dawn, who might be Twilight.
Dawnbreak?
Fucking no.
Dawnbreaker? Dude, I loved Dawnbreaker in Skyrim. That was one of my favorites.
But I think the Demand probably win the titles back here, because they shouldn't. Hangman and Brodito should not be holding those titles. I think you got to put it on an established trios team, but I think the pop that Wembley is going to have when there are some unicorns on screen, it's going to be fucking massive. If Swerve just comes out with other people, oh, and then Lethal Twisted, I think, is going to be there too. So, but I could see Demand or Lethal Twist where it's like a true trio, but I don't see the champs retaining here.
Yeah. And what kind of a sad bit of irony it would be, too, for as much work as the New Day have done as a trio, but also as like a Freebird-style tag team, to, if they happen to be Swerve's partners in this, to win trios gold without Biggie. That's oof. On their first match in a company that they've kind of been, well, they've been working, they did all that in WWE, and they laid so much ground and tread so much path in WWE.
Has a video out saying, check out the preamble between the New Day and Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks for that video game tournament they were in together. So, like, it's been 10 years, but you have to immediately run the Young Bucks and New Day, like, at all out. So, Divine Dominion are defending against the Brawling Birds, AEW Women's World Tag Championships. I don't have a lot for this. I think it's going to be a fun match, but the Birds will be winning in their home country.
Yeah, I think that's the sensible move. I mean, Divine Dominion, realistically, you could leave the belts on them forever, and I'd be totally fine with it. I'm actually pretty okay with them still beating TJ, and I never thought I'd say that. I thought TJ would have been the shoo-ins to beat them, having been like the prototypical female tag team in AEW. That said, I think you have fucking Windsor. I think you have Hayter. I think they're great on their own. They're great as a team, and I think this would be a completely wasted opportunity to not put those belts on them in the UK for a pop, a massive pop. So I'm going with the Birds.
Kevin Knight is defending against Darby Allin in a Falls Count Anywhere match. This is going to fucking rule.
Yes.
I don't know, honestly. I could see it going either way. I don't think putting the title back, giving Darby his third title reign with the TNT makes much sense.
Yeah.
Especially with the work that Kevin Knight's done as champion. So I'm going to pick Kevin Knight, but if they put it on Darby, because it is his wheelhouse, being able to do whatever he wants, wherever he wants to win. Because he will put his body on the line and do whatever the fuck. And so, Kevin Knight, Darby wins, not mad at it.
Yeah, I think Kevin Knight should win this match. I'm really starting to appreciate more the role that Kevin's been on. Again, like his promo game's not quite there. I think he's every bit as worthy to hold and continue to hold the TNT Championship as he's been through this entire reign. I'm not tired of Kevin Knight holding the TNT championship yet. And I don't know that...
Champ 3 months. But he's put in the fucking work in those 3 months.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's gotten a lot of exposure as TNT championship. And, like, it's crazy to think with all the belts and all, like, the... You know, we've talked about Mox and being the Continental Champion. We know what Fletcher and the International Champion... Well, at least you and I know. Like, Donnie might have some other opinions on Fletcher as International Champion.
His opinion is very opinionated, but on that one, he is incorrect.
I mean, at this, I feel like it's good to see the TNT Championship get feature. It's good that they have it on a guy like Kevin Knight, who's not quite ready just yet, but is clearly someone who they're trying to mold into a championship, a main event championship contender. I think he's doing a lot for the TNT title in this reign. I think he's a good face for the family. I think the family supports him well. It's just a good thing, and I don't think they should stop it for Darby. I don't think. I think Darby could go after like Mox, or he could go after Fletcher, but there's nothing he needs to do with the TNT title anymore. I think it's kind of
Brandon, your lights are
so
cutting
I think Kevin should win.
Will turn on a light. The light.
Oh yeah, you know what? It's getting darker earlier here, Pierce, and
what happens?
Yes, I'm watching Andrade El.
Did we lose you? I think you bumped your phone and we lost you. All right. Well, while Brandon gets his stuff figured out, I'll move on to the next match. I'm going to let him know we lost him. Did we get you back?
Hello?
Are you back? Your phone cut out.
Yeah, what the hell happened?
You hit your phone.
Wow. Well, it couldn't have been just me hitting my phone. That was... Okay, my apologies, good folks. I was trying to turn on a light as I was watching Andrade El Idolo, and now... Huh. The lamp is gone. Interesting.
Well, I'll go on to the next match. Jon Moxley versus Nigel McGuinness. You'll find out on Dynamite tonight. It was in Scotland, so the results of the show came out. We're getting fucking Oasis in Wembley again. Hell yeah. We are getting Jon Moxley in a Continental Championship match. Hell yeah. This run for Jon Moxley has been great. I don't think it ends here. Brandon, I'm going to kick you out for a minute. I think it doesn't make sense right now to take the title off of Jon Moxley for the hometown pop of Nigel McGuinness, because I think fully 100% this is going to be the Nigel McGuinness retirement match. I think he's going to get one last shot at a title, and a title that really fits him in the Continental Championship, where there's time limits. It's more about ground-based offense. It's really Nigel in his element in this area, but I think this is going to be the swan song for Nigel McGuinness. So I'm going to pick Jon Moxley. I think it's going to be a hell of a match. Oasis is going to play on the Wembley speakers. The United Kingdom will implode. And, Brandon, what are you thinking?
I think this is kind of the swan song that Nigel should be getting. I feel like if they're going to go all the way with this, I mean, Nigel Moxley is going to be gnarly no matter how you look at it. I think Nigel's still fighting through a little bit of ankle injury. So we'll see how that factors in. I know Mox is, a dirty bastard, so he's going to target
Mox
that.
Shark.
Yeah, he'll target that like all hell. I mean, Nigel effectively did tech sub the CMLL World Heavyweight Champion. So, and Echiseto is no slouch when it comes to...
To be fair to that, in CMLL, the lightweight championship is here and the heavyweight championship is here. So, you have to understand that the light heavyweight championship has always been held at a higher regard in CMLL. So, while it is a world championship, it's not at the prestige of their other world championship.
Right. I guess I'm thinking in terms, too, of just the quality of wrestler that Hechicero is on top of things. You've seen his matches with, like, guys like Bryan Danielson and Bandito, too. Like, he's very, very good. So to be able to catch this guy in a chancery, not in a chancery, my bad, in a guillotine and pass him out is like, that's saying a lot. So Nigel's still clearly Nigel to some degree. Not the exact same Nigel, because he would have beaten Lee Moriarty one of those dozen times that they faced. But he's still someone who has the wherewithal to potentially beat a guy like Jon Moxley. And we kind of know Moxley's MO too when it comes to submission wrestlers in general, or submission anything. He's kind of, he hits the panic button. You can see it in his face. So maybe that's an instance we see with Nigel in this. They're going to duke it, of course, to be sure. But I think when it comes down to it, I think Nigel's going to probably give him the old taparoo, as it were. I hope so, anyways.
In the match, I'm excited for this entire card. But the match, besides the Casino Gauntlet, that I am most excited for, because Tony Khan is a goddamn sick bastard. Kyle Fletcher defends the International Championship in a three-way with Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada.
Poor punished Kyle. Poor punished Kyle.
Yes! I love that!
It's very lovable. It's very lovable.
I prayed for this and it happened.
We're just going to run the soundboard on it.
I mean, the other ones are all mean, so I can't really. But what can be said about this match that can't be shown from the excitement on my face right now?
It's just familial decay.
This is
Familial decay.
AEW's, guaranteed. They've already had some match of the year contenders. Nothing has beaten Mask versus Mask. But, this is, the closest they'll get, I think, besides the main event of this show. I think Okada is the heir apparent winner here. And then you get the breakup of Proto Okada. I don't know if you get the return of Proto Shida. It might be early for that. But I think Okada is going to steal the win from Kyle. Because that makes the most sense to me. And then Okada gets, not a long run with it, because I think the end of the year, Okada is going to be raising that world title. So, but I think Okada is going to win.
I feel like that kind of just would devalue the impact that we're trying to see Kyle have with this belt, though, because I'm trying to think of the last guy who was close to Orange Cassidy's reign was.
Okada.
Was that Okada? I don't know, man. I don't think you take it away from Fletcher just to give Okada a short reign just to have him chase Will.
I'm not saying Fletcher should lose the title. Realistically, I don't want him to. But I think the obvious outcome is Okada winning the title through some shicey shit. And because they've been butting heads pretty consistently. And I think that's going to lead to the exile of Kyle Fletcher. And you get a face Fletcher.
Face Fletcher just seems kind of strange to me at this juncture.
We haven't really seen it, so how are you to know? How you know?
Well,
how you know?
I just don't know that the timing would be right for a face Fletcher. You know what I mean? Maybe if you were exiled from the family and you want to make Don Callis look like a major asshole because, this is effectively his poster child in the family. This is his golden goose. I don't think, and it doesn't make sense to me for Don Callis even to. I understand the value in Okada, and I understand the fact that but in my opinion, if I'm Don Callis, I'm pushing Okada to the world title. Period. I'm not lavishing in the fact that he becomes international champion again, and then has me lose one of my hottest, brightest stars in the process. You know what I mean? I feel as though
at the same point in time, the Callis family is overbloated. So,
Yes.
And then Fletcher is going to beat Okada for the title again. Like, that's the obvious story beats here. But they have to tell this story in totality. They can't just skip ahead to the end chapter here and then try and go back to chapter 1 because it wouldn't make sense. They have to build this story correctly.
I don't know, man. I think it also does a lot when you have a guy like Fletcher who can win this match. I think it does a lot to paint him as a future AEW World Champion, because these are two, like, not just like for the sake of Puroresu, but these are two like huge in this era talents, like easy world title contenders.
But you have to tell a story, and the story here is Don hitching.
That's not really AEW's forte, though, by and large. Well, I mean, I guess in some cases it is, but I feel like generally speaking, like, I don't know. In my brain, I guess my pick is Fletcher, because for me it makes a little more sense.
I think Okada is the obvious choice. In one of my favorite match types that AEW has ever made, the Casino Gauntlet, we know number 1 is Andrade El Idolo, number 2 is MJF, Ciampa's in it, Jericho is announced in it as of today. Do we see any debuts in this match or surprises? I think we could see a Zack Sabre Jr. I think we could see a Gabe Kidd. I know he's back.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jay White's going to be in this match.
Drilla Maloney, perhaps, to kind of build for a global championship match, or to kind of give the story towards a global championship match between him and Kidd.
Maybe. I think Ilya Dragunov is a safe choice. I think you bring him out 4th, because if you bring him out 3rd, kind of waste that pop. Put somebody 3rd that's maybe a known talent like your Ciampas, and then you bring in Ilya. I think that makes sense. As for the winner, I think it should be Andrade. I really do. He's been nothing but sensational this year. And I think even though he's the national champion, and maybe because of that you have a Jay White win, which would make some sense. And then you maybe turn the Bang Bang Gang back heel, because Jay White works better as a heel than a face always. But, like, I think you hitch the wagon to Andrade here, and then have him and MJF continue to fight over the national championship. Have MJF cost him his world title win or something like that. Something. I don't know. I think Andrade is the safe choice. But with the Casino Gauntlet, could be fucking anybody. So
could be fucking anybody. Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe we even see, as far as returns go, like Buddy Matthews has been on the shelf for a bit. I think he's got to be close.
He's cleared.
So there's that. I mean, he's a Commonwealth boy. Bring him in there. I think I do agree with your stance that Andrade deserves as much as anybody to win it. I'm trying to think of who. I'm hard pressed to think of like who else would even be. So I think of prospective world champions within the next year, right? I mean, there's the obvious in Ospreay. You look at perennial contenders like Swerve Strickland. Hangman is banned.
I think
Bard.
It's Okada. You have Takeshita in there. Like, you could have Fletcher next year. I think he'd be ready. Like, there's going to be a bunch of contenders, but they have to do somebody that makes sense. And if we're going off of just pure with that contract making sense, I know they can't cash it in immediately anymore. Somebody like a Jay White makes a ton of sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would have been my pick, because I feel like it's kind of one thing, and they've been saying a lot of like, what's Jay White going to do from here after he lost in the Continental Classic Championship Cup, whatever the fuck. I think this is where Jay White, people ask, well, why is this happening? I think this is where Jay White goes, that's why. I think they are going to, he popped me, he sold me and maybe he really did get a stinger in that match with David Finlay. But either he like worked through it super well, or he sold that shit super well. And I think he's developed enough charisma. I think he's pretty like used to American crowds now, where I think you can comfortably say that he is a viable winner in this scenario. He can pull off something underhanded. It's like Edge in the first Money in the Bank, right? Like, he's got the accolades from before. He's got all this fanfare. I think now is a time where you really like, and he's one of those guys too, where it's like he's fresh to the scene. Andrade is too, right? He's got the national championship. I think Andrade might be able to even work his way up on its own with the world title. I don't know that he necessarily needs it. Yeah, I don't know that he needs.
Andrade could get a title shot next week, and I'd be like, cool.
Yeah, he's a very strong contender for the winner of this match, though. But I think the better contender is Jay White.
Because Jay White needs to get back to that world title.
Him and Ospreay, if Ospreay comes ahead in any way by the end of the year, I think him and Ospreay is. You have a lot of history between the two of these guys too. They came up together. There's a lot of story there, and I think Jay White's a great foil for Will Ospreay. I think he's like the perfect antithesis to Will Ospreay. So,
speaking of perfect antitheses to each other, for the Women's World Championship, Willow Nightingale is defending against Mercedes Moné. I'd say this is the second hottest built match on the card, and they didn't have to do too much work for it because these two are just there. You know, I think wrestling soulmates is kind of appropriate for this feud, because you can put them apart for a while and then you bring them back and you're guaranteed to get quality. Again, I think I would have preferred Mercedes coming back as a face and then challenging Tekla. I think that would have made more sense. Willow being world champ, I'm fine with. I think Tekla deserved to be coming in world champ, and I'm not going to stop saying that, because whoever booked her winning, and by backslide no less, is a dumb bitch, and you don't be dumb bitches. That being said, I think Willow's retaining. I am not picking Mercedes Moné here. I don't think you put the title on her. They need to
bold move. Let's see if it pays off.
They need to do it when she's a babyface. They need to. I guess it didn't humble her losing all of her titles, which I think is what we kind of figured would happen. Then she comes back, becomes a babyface, and off to the moon from there. But nope, they got her as a heel, and I think Willow should win here. I can't really put it into words, but I just got a feeling. I don't think they're putting the title on Mercedes just yet.
I mean, in my mind, it would kind of be shitty. It'd be like what they did with Private Party when they became tag champs. Like, you have AEW built, born, and bred, and like, it's just.
And you just have nothing for them.
You give them that little pinch and a taste, but you don't let them flourish into what they could be, right? I think it shits on a lot of the women in the back who like try to rise above like these other people who come. Well, it's like not just exclusive to the women, but anybody. When you have, AEW who receives a lot of like, and this is why I didn't say anything about Ilya, because like I feel like it's the same thing. Like, Ilya's fresh off. He's still got the WWE scent on him.
Contract with AEW, have him pop in as a cameo for the pop,
perhaps,
and then have him go and do whatever.
I mean, assuming that Tony wouldn't be willing to just sign him right there, right then, too, right? Because why wouldn't he? My thing with Mercedes and Willow, though, is like Willow is like one of like the truest like baby faces, home built in AEW that you have. Like almost kind of like the Adam Page of the women's division a little bit. Maybe I'm a little overstepping
she's like a female
there.
John Cena. Like, she's somebody that can't be a heel, and somebody that, unlike a John Cena, is not pushed down our throats, isn't just immediately win. Like, Willow loses pretty decently often, but I think I think you have to have her win here.
She's like 2015 John Cena. Like she's got that clear babyface aura, but like you see that they clearly want to put work in, and they'll get down and dirty to do some shit, like Willow's done in a number of matches well before she was champion, before she was even TBS champion. I would love to see Willow win here. I would like to see Mercedes actually work for adulation and work to earn the top title in the company. I'm trying to think too, because did Mercedes not lose last year in London, or am I thinking?
Wasn't in London last year, but she did lose.
Not London last year. The last time she was in London is what I meant to say. 2 years ago.
She beat Britt Baker.
She beat Britt Baker. Okay, so there's a good chance she, in my mind, I don't know. There's a chance she may lose here. I almost think she might win, if for nothing else, just to try and
wins,
kick.
I'm not going to be mad at it at all, but I think that it ruins Willow's first world title win, because it just makes her a true transitional champion. Which, again, I've talked about it with Sammy, is not a bad thing in any way, shape, or form, but it doesn't work in this instance, because Willow is somebody that should hold on to it for a minimum of 2 months before losing it, while Mercedes should be a dastardly heel to beat a defending, consistent women's world champion. If she's a heel, and if she's a face, then she can be that underdog face to win it. So I don't think it makes sense right now for Mercedes to win the title. I don't. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's what kind of why I refer to as like the women's version of Adam Page, because she's kind of like the main character in a sense of the division, right? Like, you know, fans love her. You can't really hate her, but then too, I feel like it's easy enough via some rhetoric or another to take a title off of her in order to put it on a star like Mercedes Moné, or in like Hangman's case, I believe it was it Kenny Omega who was the first one to beat him? Who was the person to beat him for that title? Or was that Mox? Who was the guy who beat Hangman in his first AEW world title reign? Was that Omega? I don't know why I'm spacing on this. Was it Jericho?
That was the inaugural championship match.
Right, it was but no, I mean like when Hangman won the title after that long build, and then he lost the title not long after that.
He lost it to CM Punk.
That was Punk? Oh, that was Punk. Well, more to the point, right?
Like Punk hater number one, so like you.
No, I mean like this is someone like with again like the clearly like the WWE shadow hanging over them, who's, you know, by all metrics a bigger star in a broader market, right? But it shoes away from the homegrown, from the person who's been grinding and building for this. You know what I mean? I'm just drawing parallels.
I just don't think it's the right time for a Mercedes Moné win. Mercedes Moné world title run, I think you could put that on any time. But for her to actually win the title, it makes no fucking sense right now. But in the main event, what I assume is of course it's going to main event. What could be the fucking match of the year? Kenny Omega, and I say this with full honesty, the cleaner Kenny Omega is defending against Will Ospreay. Ospreay is winning the title here. He's probably winning with the Tiger Driver. And it's going to be Ospreay truly beating one of the dudes he could never beat. Because he did not beat him at Forbidden Door. Don Callis beat him. Like, he didn't win that match. He cheated to win that match, and that doesn't count. You have to... Will's arguably the best wrestler walking the fucking planet. And I understand some people don't like the spot fests. And here's the thing. All those kip up, get up, strong style. Oh, I'm still strong. I'm going to hit my move, and then we all fall down. It's fucking New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like, that's all it is. If you don't like it, don't watch. That's all I got to say. This match is going to fuck. And
so are we defending the Nick Wayne Bandito Fest that we saw at Death Before Dishonor too?
it's the
Just out of
same.
curiosity.
It's the same thing. That's just New Japan Pro Wrestling. They've been doing that for the past 15 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to homage it, right? I mean, Kenny and Will both were effectively.
It's not homage. That is how New Japan matches have been built.
I know, and that's why I'm saying it's homage, because you look at Kenny and Will's status both in New Japan, effectively made both of their careers. That's what I'm saying, and that's where this is stemming from, is because, as Kenny had said, like, he believes that Will was not the seat seller, the money mover that Kenny was, in spite of all the stars that Uncle Dave wants to throw into Will's lap, right?
Stars are one guy's opinion. They do not matter in the fucking slightest.
And
Dave
Kenny would agree.
A great historian for wrestling, but a lot of his starred matches, you can see his opinion coming in. You're telling me WrestleMania 25, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels isn't 5 stars? It's just a quarter star less? And it's, I mean, that means
They're
it's
just
lesser
missing
than?
something.
No, it doesn't miss shit. That's a damn near perfect match. This is my point. This match is going to be great, and it's probably going to exceed great. If you don't like Will Ospreay, I understand, because he is not everybody's cup of tea. England. And if you don't like Kenny Omega, you just don't like professional wrestling. You're just wrong in that opinion. Here's the thing. This match is going to be one of the most story-driven matches these two have ever had in any of their careers. This is going to be closer to Kenny Okada 4 versus anything that Kenny and Will have done in the past. So, with that being said, I'm going to throw out a hot take. The Emporium is open in about 3 weeks, but I'm doing one here. Will Ospreay is going to kick out of the One-Winged Angel. And that's going to lead to the finish of the match. And it's basically going to be like Brock and Oba from a few weeks ago. Brock pulling out all the stops trying to beat this guy, he can't. So he's like, fuck it, I'm going to pull out a tombstone. And I know Donnie says, oh, we're kicking out of the tombstone, it's buried, this or that. The whole thing with finishers, if somebody else hits somebody else's finisher, it's not going to be as fucking effective. It's not their finisher. They have not perfected it. When somebody hits a super kick and they kick out at 2, it's not the same as when Shawn Michaels hit the Sweet Chin Music. It's different. When somebody uses a tombstone, it's not the same as when The Undertaker uses a tombstone. That's a whole nother fucking rant. But
it's like if Typhlosion uses Thunder Punch, like Typhlosion's in a fire type, whereas if someone like Electivire uses Thunder Punch,
type attack bonus.
Pro wrestling is Pokemon. I think this is what we come away with at the end of this hour-and-a-half episode, which by extension is Pokemon, right?
It is Pokemon.
It's all connected, man.
When Gohan uses the Kamehameha, it's not the same as Goku.
When Boruto uses the Rasengan, or when Kakashi uses the Rasengan, it's not the same as like Naruto.
When Cell uses the Kamehameha, it ain't as good as fucking Goku's. Like,
when Ginjo uses the Getsuga Tensho, it's not the same.
I don't know what that is, but sure.
Bleach? Oh, you got to get it on Bleach, man. Shit's hot right now. It's got last episode for the 1,000-Year Blood War has a 10 out of 10 still on IMDb. Currently the highest ranking anime episode of all time. Currently. But it's got thousands of votes. Plug in Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War Arc. Christ. Sorry. Not sorry. Bleach is great. Go watch Bleach.
Anyway.
Bleach, white. Anywho.
This is going to be Kenny's most story-driven match in years. And Will's going to bring out the storytelling because he's an underrated fucking storyteller in the ring. He told a great story with Swerve Strickland a couple months ago. He told an amazing story with Bryan Danielson in their match. And then a couple months later with MJF. With just that little story beat of Bryan Danielson going up to him and saying, do it. Do it. For him to hit the Tiger Driver. Kenny is going to lose his mind because somebody kicked out of the One-Winged Angel. And he's not going to be able to kick out of the Tiger Driver. New champ, deserved world championship for Will Ospreay, and he's going to get his crowning moment in front of his country.
I have no argument to that. I think this is the definitive passing of the torch to determine who is truly the greatest wrestler on the planet right now. I think Kenny has been kind of holding on to his god of professional wrestling for a good long time.
Men's professional wrestler, because it's Io Sky for the women. Just going to throw that out there.
Noted. I think there's no other way it's going to be Will. Like, we know this. It's going to be Will.
If Will
it's just
loses,
a matter of how.
You literally flush down.
I will shit my pants.
A year plus of storytelling from Will's injury, which was a shoot, but it lays into the story. Mm-hmm. Him winning the Owen, him coming back, him training with the Death Riders, everything that they've done, which has been fucking quality television from AEW. Gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine. Well, and to think too, like, Will turned down, he just said he turned down big money from WWE. It doesn't surprise me that WWE, when you have a guy like Paul Heyman coming up on stage, shaking your hand, effectively saying that, like, I've been watching you, I've been scouting you, and he just goes around and says, like, boy, fuck off, bruv, I'm going to go do AEW things. You know, I don't know how Will might say it, but...
That was like 10 years ago, and that was when he offered him an Evolve contract with Gabe Sapolsky.
All the same. Yeah, all the same.
Evolve was not a WWE affiliate at that time.
It wasn't directly an affiliate. It wasn't a brand, but it was still very closely affiliated. Look at all the guys that got out of Evolve. You got Johnny Gargano, you got Theory, whatever you want to say about him. You got Briggs. You've got, I'm sure there's others, plenty of others. Plenty of others. My point is, plenty of others have been through Evolve prior to it becoming a WWE property. Similar to, I mean, you can almost think of it like a proto TNA deal, right? Like the partnership with WWE and TNA, like where you see guys just kind of come over. We'll see if it's
closer to 2010 Ring of Honor than anything because of the Gabe Sapolsky thing. But
well, I guess if you want to count that association, think of it that way. Yeah.
I don't like. Point being, Will Ospreay, we get it. Some people dislike him for kind of hyperbolic reasons, if we're being 100% honest. But, like, the dude is a fucking great wrestler. Arguably the greatest wrestler. If you look at Dave Meltzer, he is the greatest wrestler to ever live. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be one of the most story-driven matches we've seen in a while. It's going to be closer to, I think it's going to be story-driven like All In last year, or WrestleMania 40. It's not going to have all those run-ins, because this should not have any run-ins at all. But it's going to be two dudes literally just going out there saying, all right, let's see who's the best. And they're going to cook. And you're going to get a goddamn Wagyu steak. And you're going to enjoy every bite. It's going to be medium rare. You're going to have a side of mashed potatoes. It's going to be, or if that's not what you like, it'll be a burrito. It'll be some Chinese food. It'll be some bangers and mash because we're in London. Doesn't fucking matter. This is going to be, it could supersede Mask versus Mask. It's a high bar. It's the highest bar. But
well, who else could jump that? But right, you're talking about Omega and Ospreay here. Like, if anything, like, and it's not to take anything away from the participants in Mask vs. Mask, but I mean, if we're saying that like the guys in Mask vs. Mask are putting on the same kind of quality or the level of a match that guys like Omega and Ospreay are putting on together, I think that says a lot more about the Mask for Mask match than it does even for Omega and Ospreay.
Yep.
But that's its own thing. But in any case, I expect this match will be nothing short of sensational. It has to be. It will be. It doesn't. I mean, it both has to be. It will be. This is effectively the rubber match, if you will, between Omega and Ospreay. This is the passing of the torch. This is Will manifesting destiny in his home country. This is Will becoming effectively the face of AEW. Yes.
The biggest place in his country, he could do it.
Yes.
At the most legendary stadium outside of Madison Square Garden, arguably.
Arguably.
They're not going to sell it out. They're getting close to 50,000, which is still insane.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully with what they're doing with the other seats, we get a pretty cool stage. AEW's not really known for stages, but come on, Tony, let's see a little spice. Let's see some. I know we're in England, but we need some spices.
I think he will have pinched his pennies. Yeah, maybe kind of garlic it up a little bit. Maybe some green onion.
I don't want beans on toast. I want bangers and mash. Just still England. I'm going to talk Sam's on wrestling because it's still fucking weird to me.
You're going to talk Sam's on wrestling? Oh, when is that happening? Are you talking with Sam's on wrestling?
No, I'm saying I'm going to ask him why they eat beans on toast.
Oh, that's a fair
Shout out
question.
Sam's
I think.
on wrestling.
These are the reasons we got into the Main Event Wrestling Network in the first place, to interact with these internets and figure out what the hell is wrong with your food.
And
Sam's on wrestling falls in your court.
So,
Yes, we have a lot of backing for that now, thankfully.
but that's 3 shows up. That's 3 shows down. I do hope a women's casino gauntlet gets added. Now, right now it's just a 9-match card, which is still pretty light for AEW. So maybe they get a 10th, and then, of course, there will be a pre-show. Big Boom AJ is going to be there. Whatever match he's in, I'm just going to predict right now he wins. So, and if the women's gauntlet does happen, Tekla. She's the only choice.
Yeah, I think she's the best choice for sure. I still don't feel right. It doesn't feel right her not having the title.
Going into the big show, it's not fair to her. I would have liked to meet her holding the title. I did get her, me and her flipping off the camera. Give him one of these.
Maybe she does some work with Stardom. I feel as though like women's wrestling in Japan.
Trios champion, right?
Are they still trios champs? I don't know. I thought they lost those recently.
I don't know Stardom at all. I know that.
Yeah, I know
that
Triangle of Madness had their.
Tekla is a menace to society, which I appreciate. Artist of Stardom is the Triangle of Madness. That's the name of those titles, the Artist of Stardom Championship. Jesus, fucking weird. Okay, I can't. Let's.
Stardom has some weird names with belts, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Wonder World of Stardom Championship is their world championship.
Mm-hmm.
So next week we are going to review all these shows. We also, I believe it is going to be confirmed, but we should be on Wells Mania next week with his return episode. I might be spoiling. I apologize if that's the case, Wells. But, Brandon, before I send us home, what do you got for the people?
You kind of said it starting there, brother. So, yeah, next week we are going to be starting our fall tour. We are starting Q3. So next month, you can expect us to hit open the Hot Take Emporium. We're going to have some more guests on in the month of September. We are going to be making some appearances in some pretty fancy mixers, if I do say so myself, coming up this weekend, this Saturday and Sunday. You can catch me on the Main Event Network's mixer for Ora de Calor 1 and a Heatwave. I almost said All In. Pierce, that's you. You are going to be probably hosting the mixer.
Okay. The boss man has to tell me what's going on. So.
Well, hey, but you got the ball rolling, brother. So you can expect to see you hosting the all-in mixer for Main Event Wrestling Network. So please do catch us on there. I will say,
if it's Tucker, I'm not mad. Because I love Tucker. Tucker, I love you.
Tucker's good. Go ahead, give him a big
throw me under the bus like Pluggo.
But also, I do want to say we love the fact that we've been doing this for over 100 episodes now. And just the other day, it may seem like a pretty small thing compared to some other content creators. But for us, kind of just coming out of the blue, we got our first triple-digit viewer episode with our first triple-digit episode ever. So we want to say thank you to all of you for chilling with us, just having yourself a little brewski, whatever else you're drinking, hearing about, talking about some pro wrestling. We hope to do this for a good amount of time yet. We hope to do this for another 100 episodes, maybe another 200. We'll see how it paces out. But we, again, to kind of gush from last week, made so many awesome connections as a result of this podcast. We get to sit and talk about something that we love for a good hour. Now looking at over an hour and a half. And we get to do this with all of you. Can't thank you enough. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching us, bullshitting with us. Just thank you. Thank you. ASL.
And that's not just from us. That's from everybody at the Main Event Network. And hey, next time you stop in, think about having a beer on us. We'll see you next time.